Hey seniors, nice to be with you today. I'm Michael Scott. I'm your host for the Seniors in Action channel, where we educate seniors on different health items and try to get you to stay active, so that you can do a lot of things. Today we're going to talk about pickleball to stay active. Some of you may not have heard of pickleball, but pickleball is a game that kind of takes some of its rules from tennis and from table tennis and a couple of other badminton, for example. A game that's really growing in popularity in the United States. It's probably grown 500 or 600% in the last 5 or 6 years, so it's growing very rapidly, and it's a game that seniors can play. I have a friend that plays 3 hours a day every day, and he says it's not that strenuous, but it's got some advantages. Now, he plays doubles. Singles might be more strenuous, but it's got some real advantages to it. So this is a good game to pick up and stay active if you're looking for something to do that is not as intense as what you're used to, and that's fun. So history of it: 1965. Three fathers are actually given the credit for inventing it. They had some boring kids, and so they came up with a new game that had some rules. And since then, the rules have been changed a little bit more, and the rackets have been improved, and the courts have been built, and it's became a big sport. And so if you look down there at the usapickleball.org, it gives you the history. It even tells you where to play, where you can play in your community, and as talks about lessons. It gives the rules, that sort of thing. So a good site if you want to learn more about pickleball. Go to that particular site. All right, the court layout, very much like a tennis court, only smaller. It's same size as a doubles badminton court, 20 feet by 44 feet long. And again, that's not huge. If you're playing singles, it's a little bit more intensive, but not as bad as tennis. And certainly if you're playing doubles, it's not as bad either. So here's what your court looks like. And so that you get an idea of what you're looking at. It can be played either indoors or outdoors. Some of the equipment that you need are paddles, and so this is a fairly inexpensive sport to get into when you compare it to something like golf or something like that, because it does not take a lot of upfront cost. Here's 2 paddles, for example, and a couple of balls at Dick's for $50. If you want to buy a little bit more, there's some for $100. But my son, who's played quite a bit, I asked him, if you want to get a good quality paddle, how much do you have to spend? And he said anywhere between $80 and $120 would probably get you a fairly good quality paddle. And then you've got, you'd have to buy some balls and stuff. But a lot of the places where you play pickleball, if you're brand new, will have a paddle that you can use and have some balls that you can use, because they want you to come in and play and buy stuff from them. So, or in some places, there's a small fee involved for playing on their courts. A lot of places are free, but so let's look at where to play. Local college, that's usually going to be free if you play on their courts. You're going to have to show up and make sure there's courts available. Local YMCA, of course, you're going to have to have a membership there. A pickleball complex, probably have to have a membership. We've got a pickleball complex in Twin Falls. I haven't been there. I don't know how nice it is. But it's like $3 for 2 hours to play for 2 hours, and $4 to play for 3 hours. So it's a pretty inexpensive sport if you have to rent a court. There's also local recreation centers that are probably run by the city that you might be in, and a local park. If you've got tennis courts and you want to play outside, a lot of these tennis courts have been lined now with pickleball lines so that you can play pickleball on these courts outside. So you'll see here you can play both indoor and outdoor. The blue court there is an outdoor court, and that is specifically a pickleball court. It's not a tennis court, so it's smaller. And then the other indoor court in green there is indoors. It's much you don't have to worry about the weather if you're playing indoors. And even if it's a warm day, you've got wind and stuff that can affect the ball itself, because these balls aren't tennis balls or hard balls or anything. They're more like a wiffle ball, and they can be impacted by the wind. They can be curved and stuff by the wind, and so certainly an indoor court has its advantages in that respect. All right, bunch of health advantages. I think improving flexibility and stuff. I work out several times a week, but I do need an additional workout to improve my flexibility and my ability to run and get around. I want to manage my diabetes that I have, so that's why I'm looking at getting into pickleball. So a lot of health advantages here. Not to mention most things we talk about have got advantages for dementia and Alzheimer's. And this has got advantages other than that. So I appreciate you watching. It's good to have you here. You need to be a senior in action. If you haven't picked up bowling or hiking or some of the other walking or some of the other things that we've talked about, you might want to try pickleball and get into it. Good sport, and maybe you do more than one. It's a good sport. You meet friends, especially if you're playing doubles, and meet a lot of people, and just go out and enjoy yourself, stay active so that you can remain active. Thank you.